Adobe just launched a Firefly AI Assistant that takes natural language instructions and autonomously executes tasks across Photoshop, Premiere Pro, Illustrator, and every other Creative Cloud app, powered in part by Anthropic's Claude. NVIDIA just open-sourced the world's first quantum AI model family, and Jensen Huang made a claim that stopped the entire industry. AI will become the operating system of quantum computers. That's not a metaphor, it's a strategic declaration. And Fei-Fei Li's team at World Labs open-sourced a 3D rendering engine that can stream 100 million point clouds on a mobile phone in real time in a web browser with no dedicated hardware required. 3 stories, all of them are about AI moving into territory that previously required entirely different tools. I'm Alex. This is the Read AI. Adobe's entire business model has been built on the same architecture for 30 years, individual applications, each with its own interface, learning curve, and subscription tier. You open Photoshop for images, you open Premiere for video, you open Illustrator for vector work. You learn each one separately. You switch between them constantly. Firefly AI Assistant changes that architecture at its foundation. Instead of navigating menus and switching applications, you describe what you want. Resize all these images for Instagram and Twitter. Color grade this footage to match this reference photo. Erase the background from every product shot in this folder. The assistant interprets the instruction, figures out which tools to use and in which order, and executes the workflow autonomously across whichever applications the task requires. Adobe calls this the agentic era of software, the shift from tools that respond to individual commands towards systems that understand intent and execute multi-step workflows on their own. That's a meaningful distinction. The difference between a tool and an agent is whether you have to direct every step or whether you just describe the outcome. The integration with Anthropic's Claude is notable because it means users can start a workflow in Claude, brainstorm a campaign, describe a visual direction, write a brief, and then execute it directly inside Adobe's creative tools without switching context. Adobe has also connected to Google, OpenAI, Runway, Luma AI, and 11 Labs, making Firefly a platform that orchestrates multiple AI models rather than being locked to one. The new Firefly Image Model 5 and a node-based workflow system called Project Graph launched alongside the assistant, giving users both the conversational interface and the visual pipeline view for more complex productions. Now here's what makes this launch complicated. Adobe CEO Shantanu Narayan, who led the company for 18 years and built its transformation from packaged software to cloud subscriptions, announced in March that he's leaving once a successor is found. His departure creates an unusual transition. The executive who built the subscription model that made Adobe one of the most profitable software companies in the world is leaving precisely as that model faces its biggest structural challenge. The challenge is real. Canva now has 260 million monthly active users. Figma, which Adobe tried and failed to acquire, is pushing deeper into professional design. And the entire premise of charging separate subscription fees for separate applications is under pressure when an AI assistant can operate across all of them simultaneously. The market's response to Adobe's AI push has been skeptical. Despite dominant market share in professional creative tools and nearly $24 billion in annual revenue, the stock suggests investors aren't yet convinced that the transition to AI-native creative tools will protect Adobe's margins. The Firefly Assistant is Adobe's argument that it can, that the company which owns the professional creative workflow can remain the company that owns the professional creative workflow, just with a fundamentally different interface sitting on top of it. Whether creative professionals actually hand off their workflows to an AI agent or whether they keep doing the pixel-level work themselves and just use AI for the repetitive parts is the question Adobe's next CEO will have to answer. What's clear is that the architecture has changed. Adobe just built a layer above its own software. Now it has to prove that layer is worth more than the software beneath it. NVIDIA has open-sourced the world's first quantum AI model family. They're calling it NVIDIA Icing. and Jensen Huang made a statement alongside the release that explains exactly what NVIDIA is positioning for. AI will become the operating system of quantum computers. That's not a metaphor, it's a strategic declaration. To understand why this matters, you need to understand the core problem that has kept quantum computing in the 5-year curse loop for decades. Every 5 years, researchers say large-scale practical quantum computing is 5 years away. The joke has been running since the 1990s. The reason it keeps happening is error rates. Current quantum processors make an error roughly every 1,000 operations. For quantum computing to be practically useful at scale, that error rate needs to drop to 1 in a trillion. The gap between where quantum hardware is and where it needs to be is enormous. And the challenge of closing it is primarily about 2 things: calibration and error correction. Calibration is the process of continuously adjusting quantum systems to maintain their accuracy. It currently takes days. Ising calibration is a 35 billion parameter vision language model that reads the output of quantum processors, interprets what it sees, and performs active calibration autonomously. In testing with Fermi National Accelerator Laboratory and Harvard University, it reduced calibration time from days to hours. Ising decoding handles real-time error correction. Using 3D convolutional neural networks, it processes syndrome errors as quantum computations run and corrects them before they accumulate. Compared with the current open-source industry standard, it runs 2.5 times faster and achieves 3 times better accuracy. Both models are released under Apache 2.0, a business-friendly open-source license that lets companies build on them commercially without restrictions. NVIDIA's stock jumped over 6% on the announcement, but the move makes sense beyond the immediate market reaction. NVIDIA has spent years making GPU the default hardware for AI training and inference. The pattern they're running with quantum is identical. Establish the software layer first, make it open source to drive adoption, and then become the indispensable infrastructure underneath it. When Jensen Huang says AI will become the operating system of quantum computers, he's describing a future where every quantum computing system runs on AI models for calibration and error correction, and where those AI models run on NVIDIA hardware. The quantum computing industry has been waiting for a software breakthrough to complement the hardware progress. NVIDIA just inserted itself into that breakthrough, not by building quantum hardware, but by solving the software problem that was blocking quantum hardware from being useful. That's a characteristic move, and it's worked before.
Fei-Fei Li's team at World Labs just open-sourced Spark 2.0, a 3D rendering engine that can stream 100 million point clouds on any device, including mobile phones, through a standard web browser with no dedicated GPU required. That sounds technical. Here's what it actually means. Right now, high-quality 3D content on the internet is either limited or inaccessible on most devices. Large 3D scenes require file sizes in the gigabytes. Smooth rendering requires powerful graphics hardware. The result is that immersive 3D environments, the kind being built for spatial computing, virtual showrooms, digital twins, and world models, are effectively locked behind high-end hardware. Spark 2.0 breaks that constraint through 3 technical solutions working together. The first is a continuous level of detail system that adjusts rendering complexity in real time based on what part of the scene you're looking at and how close you are. Instead of jarring switches between high detail and low detail, the scene degrades and improves smoothly as you move through it. Only the splats that matter for your current view get rendered at full detail. The second is a new file format called .rad that compresses 3D data while supporting progressive streaming. Unlike existing formats that require the entire file before rendering can begin, .rad starts displaying the scene immediately and refines it as more data arrives, the same way a JPEG loads progressively over a slow connection. The third is a virtual memory system that creates a fixed GPU memory pool for 16 million splats and manages loading and eviction automatically. This means the scene can be effectively infinite while the device only ever holds the relevant portion in memory at any given moment. The practical result is 3D environments that previously required a workstation can now run in a browser tab on a phone. Why does this matter for AI? Because Fei-Fei Li's broader work at World Labs is about spatial intelligence, AI systems that understand and reason about the physical world in 3 dimensions. The quality and scale of 3D data those systems can work with directly determines what they can understand and build. Spark 2.0 is the rendering infrastructure that makes large-scale spatial AI accessible. And releasing it as open source means every developer building spatial applications, world models, or AI-driven 3D environments can use it without restriction. Fei-Fei Li said exactly what she's going for, contributing to the open source ecosystem for web-based 3D rendering. The subtext is clear. World Labs is competing to define the infrastructure layer of spatial computing, and open sourcing the renderer is how you win that competition before a proprietary alternative locks the market. 3 stories today, all running the same playbook from different directions. Adobe built an AI agent layer above its own software, betting that the company owning the workflow keeps owning it even when the interface changes. NVIDIA inserted itself into quantum computing's critical unsolved problems, calibration and error correction, by open sourcing AI models that solve them, and positioned GPU as the hardware of those models run on. And Fei-Fei Li's team removed the hardware barrier from high-quality 3D content by open sourcing a renderer that runs everywhere. All 3 moves share the same logic. Don't wait for the next platform to be defined. Define the infrastructure yourself. Make it open so everyone builds on it and own the layer underneath. That's the AI strategy playbook in 2026, and it's being executed simultaneously across creative software, quantum computing, and spatial intelligence. Subscribe to the Read AI for the stories that matter. Drop a comment. Which of these 3 reshapes your industry most? Adobe's agent creative tools, NVIDIA's quantum AI play, or Fei-Fei Li making 3D as accessible as video? I want to know. Share this with someone who thinks the AI infrastructure wars are already decided. I'm Alex. I'll catch you in the next one.